Week 8 of the 2024 through 25 NFL season is in the books, and I am here today to predict the final score of each game in Week 9. Welcome in. Thank you for joining me. Before I get to the picks, as always, we do this every week, I need to recap my picks from the previous week. Solid week for yours truly, 10-6. My upset of the week, I missed on that. That was not a good pick by me. Jaguars over the Packers. Some pretty ugly misses on the left side of the screen, as you can see. I had the Vikings over the Rams. They lose by 10. I had the Bengals over the Eagles. They get blasted. I had the Ravens 30-7 over the Browns. Big whiff by me. I had the Jets by double digits over the New England Patriots. That was a bad miss. My game of the week pick, I mean, what the fuck, dude? A Hail Mary. I miss on that. My lock of the week was correct. Never a doubt about it. I'm 1-7 on the year for my upset of the weeks. There's no sugarcoating it. I have to be better there. For my lock of the week pick, I'm 5-3 on the year. I still should be better than that, and I'm 5-3 picking the game of the week. Now, of course, before we begin, I remind you to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and click the bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Let's begin. We begin with Thursday Night Football on Halloween night, by the way, with the Texans visiting the Jets. And I'm recording this video on Monday night. As of about 5 minutes ago, I checked the point spread for the game. Somehow, this Jets team is favored by 1.5 points. That's galling. At this point, the New York Jets just are what they are. They are a bad team that is getting worse every week. It started with them losing close games against teams like the Broncos and the Vikings and the Bills. You know, good teams. Then they get blown out by the Steelers. And last week, really hit rock bottom, losing to the Patriots. They keep finding new scapegoats. No, the problem is this. Oh, wait, no, it's this. They're a bad team, and they absolutely do not deserve to be favored against anyone other than the worst teams in the league, the other 2-win teams in their conference. And they certainly do not deserve to be favored against the Houston Texans team that's 6-2. So I obviously like the Texans to win this game. You know, could this game be close because the Jets do tend to play better at home? I think so. But am I going to pick the Jets to win? Absolutely not. I don't care if they're desperate for a win. As I said, they're getting worse every week, and that locker room is a boiling kettle, I have to imagine. All signs point to the Texans winning here, so I like the Texans 27-16. One of the greater surprises of this NFL season is the Denver Broncos. Many, including myself, expected them to be picking top 5 in the draft, but instead, they sit at 5-3 with one of the best defenses in the NFL. And obviously, I don't think Bo Nix is good. I know he looked good last week, but, you know, most quarterbacks who play the Carolina Panthers look pretty good. The Baltimore Ravens are heavily favored here. They took a really, really tough loss in Cleveland last week, so I have to think this is going to be a really hard week of practice. But I think that the Broncos are legit. I think that their defense against an offense that has really been on fire all year since the first couple of weeks, I think that the Broncos defense is going to keep them in the game. I obviously like the Ravens to win here just because Lamar Jackson versus Bo Nix. I mean, that's such an obvious gap. But I think that the Broncos are going to cover the spread. I think they're like 8 or 9 point underdogs. I think that the Broncos will keep it to closer than that. I like the Ravens to win here at home, 19-12. Shout out to the Cleveland Browns. In their first game this year without Deshaun Watson, who was very obviously a big problem for them. In their first game without Deshaun Watson, they beat one of the best teams in the AFC, the Baltimore Ravens, 29-24, and that was a great win. However, they still need to show me a lot more to make me believe that they're going to come close to competing or making the playoffs this year. In spite of what happened last week, I think that the LA Chargers are a better team than the Browns. I think that the Browns will be able to keep this one close, but I think the Chargers will win this one 21-14. This next one is going to be my lock of the week with Miami and Buffalo. I correctly predicted last week that Tua's return would not solve all of the Dolphins' problems as they lost at home 28-27 against the Arizona Cardinals. The Bills put Tua in a blender just about every time they face him, and they're getting Von Miller back this week, so I think that they'll probably get multiple turnovers in this game. And on the other side, the Bills' offense is on fire right now. They've scored 30 points in 2 consecutive games. The addition of Amari Cooper is really working out for them. I think that the Bills' offense is going to go off in this game. I think Josh Allen, he always plays great against the Dolphins. I like the Bills to win comfortably here. I'm going to make this my lock of the week. Bills 31, Dolphins 17. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this next one with New Orleans and Carolina. I mean, these two teams have a combined record of 3-13. Obviously, neither one of these teams, they're probably both going to be eliminated by Thanksgiving, if not Christmas. However, I do not think that the Saints, I think these teams are about equal caliber right now. Neither team has shown any signs of life. I do not think the Saints should be favored by a full touchdown on the road in this matchup. And I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers to win here 19-17, and I'm going to call this my upset of the week. This next one's an interesting one with the Dallas Cowboys visiting the Atlanta Falcons. I suppose we have to start the conversation with, although this probably isn't news to people who've been following this NFL season, the Dallas Cowboys are a shell of the team they were the previous 3 years. Their defense is absolutely terrible. Some of that is because Mike Zimmer, his defensive schemes are archaic and outdated. Also, part of that probably due to some of the injuries they've had with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't know if either of them are going to be back for this game. On the other side, the Falcons, I thought that they would win the NFC South this year, and I think they're in the driver's seat to do that right now. They won both head-to-head matchups against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're in first place right now, effectively with a 1.5 game lead. They've lost 3 games this year. All of them have been at home, and the last time we saw the Falcons play at home, they really laid an egg against a Seahawks team, and also inconsistent Seahawks team that I really don't know what they are yet. But I think the Falcons are going to win this game. I don't like the vibes in Dallas one bit. As I said, I don't know if Micah Parsons or DeMarcus Lawrence are going to play. And without those guys, this Cowboys defense just isn't good. So I like the Falcons to win this one 27-23. The Washington Commanders come into Week 8 with a record of 6-2 off the win last week against the Chicago Bears. We all know that win ended on a Hail Mary by Jaden Daniels. It was a bit of an ugly game, but a win is a win, and they are now on the road against the New York Giants, who are one of the worst teams in the NFL. We all know the story of Jaden Daniels this year. He has been by far the best rookie this season. He's going to win Rookie of the Year, and I think the Commanders are going to win this game 24-14. Tennessee and New England are the 2 worst teams in the AFC. Flatly. Maybe the Jets instead of the Patriots. But both of these teams stink. Neither of them are well coached. The Patriots came into this year with very low expectations. The Titans looked like kind of a boom or a bust type of team that a lot of people, including myself, thought was more likely to bust, and bust it has. They have benched Will Levis. I believe Mason Rudolph is going to be the starter from here on out. I expect this to be kind of like Saints-Panthers, a super sloppy, ugly, low-scoring game with really bad football on both sides. But I'm going to pick Tennessee 17-16 because they're at home. These next 2 teams, Las Vegas and Cincinnati, have a win difference of only 1. If you told me that that would be the case through 8 weeks before the season, I would have called you crazy. But here we are. Las Vegas is just a bad team that has been a bad team. They traded Devontae Adams. They don't have a quarterback. I don't think they do anything particularly well. Cincinnati, on the other hand, has been very disappointing. They're 0-4 at home, which is really hard to believe considering they opened up the season with a home game against the Patriots. I know I said last week that I don't think Cincinnati is going to be 0-4 at home, but here we are. But I'm just going to say I really don't think they're going to be 0-5 at home. And although Cincinnati has not been able to beat the above average teams like Baltimore or Kansas City or Washington or Philadelphia last week, they have been able to beat the lesser teams in the NFL, the lesser teams that they face, such as Carolina, the Giants, Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. I think Las Vegas is in that class of team. The Bengals, it seems like they can't play well on both sides of the ball in the same game. So I think that Joe Burrow is going to have a really productive day throwing the ball against this Raiders defense. But the Bengals defense isn't good. I think the Raiders will be able to stay in this game for that reason. I do like Cincinnati to win here 27-21. However, the Bengals need to show me a lot more for me to believe that they can make a run to the playoffs. The Philadelphia Eagles looked largely mediocre through their first 6 games, went to the wire with the Deshaun Watson Browns, got blasted by Tampa Bay, won an ugly game in New Orleans, blew a game to Atlanta. But the last 2 weeks, they have looked really good, blowing out the Giants and the Bengals, both on the road. They're coming back home this week to face a Jaguars team that really doesn't do anything well. Their defense, particularly, is porous. Trevor Lawrence is not playing well at all. The Philadelphia offense is on a nice hot streak. I think they're going to keep that up against Jacksonville, and I think that this Eagles defensive line is going to be able to harass Trevor Lawrence, and he's going to probably have multiple fumbles. I don't know how many of them they're going to lose. He's going to lose. But Philadelphia should win this game comfortably. So I like Philadelphia here 31-13. Chicago Bears. That was an embarrassing meltdown at the end of the game last week against Washington. First, in the fourth quarter, they had 3rd and goal from inside the 5. They didn't take the lead on this drive. They did end up taking the lead later. But on 3rd and goal from inside the 5, a chance to take the lead in the fourth quarter, they handed the ball off to their backup center and they fumbled. I mean, I don't know what the hell Shane Waldron was thinking there. And then, of course, on the Hail Mary, Tyrese Stevenson is chatting with the fans in Washington, not paying attention to the play, and he only turned around and saw that the play was happening once the Washington receivers got to the Bears 20. I mean, that's just flat out embarrassing in every aspect. Despite that, Chicago is still a very talented team with an excellent defense, and Caleb Williams, I think, is going to continue to get better. Arizona Cardinals, on the other hand, a little streaky week to week. Back in September, they got absolutely throttled at home against Washington, but they played Buffalo tough, beat San Francisco, got throttled by Green Bay. They've been super up and down. I think that the Bears are better than the Cardinals, and I'm going to pick them to win this game. I do expect this game to be close, and I expect the Cardinals to fight hard. But this Cardinals defense just looks so vulnerable to me that I think Caleb Williams is going to have a huge day throwing the football. And I think that DeAndre Swift and this Bears running game, they're also going to light up the Cardinals. So give me the Chicago Bears to win here 27-23. The Detroit Lions right now look like the clear class of the NFC. Their offense is just on fire over their last 4 games. They put up 42 against the Seahawks in a game Jared Goff doesn't throw an incompletion, 47 on the Cowboys, 31 on the highly touted Minnesota Vikings defense, and last week, 52 points in a blowout win against the Tennessee Titans. They're visiting a Green Bay Packers team whose quarterback, Jordan Love, his status is very questionable heading into this game. I have no idea if he's going to play or not. Matt LaFleur said he is very concerned about his status, so I am going to analyze this game as if he's not going to play, which means Malik Willis is going to get the start. The Packers did have Malik Willis start 2 games, and they went 2-0 in those games, and Malik Willis actually looks pretty decent. But those games were against the Colts and the Titans. Those teams are not exactly in the same class as the Detroit Lions. I think that the Lions are firmly better than a Malik Willis-led Packers team. I think the Packers are well coached. They still have a lot of talent around Malik Willis. I think they'll keep this game close, but the Lions will pull this one out. They'll be firmly in the driver's seat for the NFC North. They're going to win this game 27-24 in what I think is going to be the game of the week. Head out to the Pacific Coast for a crucial battle in the NFC West. Will have major implications on who wins this division and potentially who gets into a wild card slot in the NFC if we in fact have multiple playoff teams from this division, with the LA Rams at 3-4 visiting the Seattle Seahawks at 4-4. The LA Rams a couple weeks ago looked like they were dead. They were 1-4, but now they're right back in the playoff picture. They got Puka Nacua back last week. They got Cooper Kupp back as well, and that offense was humming. And on the other side, the Seattle Seahawks, I don't know what this team, they started the season 3-0, looked impressive, then dropped 3 straight, including a home loss against the woeful New York Giants. They went to Atlanta and blew out what I think is a good Falcons team. And last week, they were beaten pretty thoroughly by the Buffalo Bills. I don't really trust them, kind of like the Cardinals. I don't really trust the Seahawks on a week-to-week basis. I think that the Rams are heating up. The Rams have kind of had the Seahawks number over the last few years. Of course, they swept them last year. I like the Rams to win this game too, and for the Rams to firmly establish themselves in the wild card race in the NFC. So give me the Rams to win this one 24-17. This next game was recently flexed into Sunday Night Football in place of Jaguars-Eagles. The 4-4 Indianapolis Colts visit the 5-2 Minnesota Vikings. And it really pains me to say this. The once 5-0 Vikings, who were the number 1 seed in the NFC, might be in real trouble. The last 2 weeks, their defense has looked absolutely terrible against the Lions and the Rams. And in the loss to the Rams last week, they lost their franchise left tackle Christian Darrisaw for the year to a knee injury. And that's, to me, is super concerning for this Vikings team. They are getting TJ Hawkinson back this week. I think that should help. But, going from Christian Darrisaw at the left side to David Quessenberry, that's a huge downgrade. I think potentially a really costly turnstile over there. Now, Anthony Richardson is completing like 50% of his passes. That's pretty clearly a step down in competition from Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. Obviously, the Colts are really good at running the ball, and I think that they're going to want to do that in this game. But I think they'll be able to, contain the Colts' run game because they really can't throw the ball at all. I think this is going to be close, a little ugly, but I do like the Vikings to win here 17-13. And finally, we have Monday Night Football with the 4-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the undefeated, the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions Kansas City Chiefs. A couple weeks ago, I saw this game on the schedule and I thought, man, this is going to be a really good one. Baker Mayfield and this high-powered Tampa Bay offense against the defending Super Bowl champions. But a couple weeks ago against the Ravens, that loss to the Ravens really ruined Tampa Bay's season in a lot of ways. Of course, they lost Chris Godwin for the year. I don't know if Mike Evans is going to play in this game or not. I'll check his status going through the week. I'll assume he's not because hamstring injuries can be tough. But I like Baker Mayfield, but I just don't trust him against this elite Kansas City defense without Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And I think the Chiefs, the thing is, Steve Spagnuolo, he's the best defensive coordinator in the league. And if your offense has any weakness, like Tampa Bay will without their top 2 receivers, Spagnuolo is going to take advantage of it. I think he's going to be able to leave the Chiefs' defensive backs on islands with these Tampa Bay receivers, and that'll allow them to blitz Baker Mayfield more and get pressure on him, and I think that Baker Mayfield is going to struggle in this game. Patrick Mahomes, like he's done all year, is going to do just enough for the Chiefs to win this game. This Bucs defense on the back end has been really underwhelming this year, so I like the Kansas City Chiefs to win here 22-17. And that will be all for today. I remind you to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And if you want to be notified of future content, please click the bell icon. You can choose whether you want all notifications, personalized notifications, whatever floats your boat. Also, I encourage you to leave a comment telling me what I was right about, what I was wrong about, and how I can improve these videos in the future. I appreciate the feedback very, very much. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you again real soon.